So Modern Warfare 3 has been out for a whole 10 days now, and I've played it pretty much every day. Now, I did get a brand new puppy, so like, I've not played for as much as I might like, but let's give my thoughts on it, I suppose. Oh, I mean, that sums it up straight away. Being killed by a slide-cancelling Groot skin, good start. I like the game, but there are a lot of problems that I have with it. I think there is a bit of a connection problem, one that I've not seen quite this bad in a very long time, specifically when I'm using, like, right now, for example, I'm in hardcore 24/7 Rust. Yeah, so it's a bit of a niche down playlist. There doesn't seem to be enough people for it to match you based on connection properly. And that is going to be to do with skill-based matchmaking. A lot of people will complain about skill-based matchmaking, or complain about people complaining about skill-based matchmaking, but it's a fact, right, that skill-based matchmaking will prioritize your skill over your connection, putting you with people closer to skill at the detriment to your connection, which is why half the time that I play these niche game modes, which, considering Terminal 24/7 was a thing, is all the time. But outside of connection, when things work as they should, I really enjoy it. I like the old maps being back because my biggest, like, year of COD was, like, look how laggy that is, that one gun is still on the screen when I switch over. Like, what is this? What is going on here? It's strange. But what was I saying? Yeah, so my biggest year of COD was Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare 2. So trying to sort of relive that nostalgia is always going to be a good thing. And realistically, I don't think it quite hits the mark that I think it wished it did. Like, if we're truly honest, this game is being sold off nostalgia alone, and there is a massive argument to be made that it is just a DLC. You could argue that very easily, especially down to just everything from Modern Warfare 2, from last year's Modern Warfare 2, Roman numeral 2, being in here. But, right, actually, if we talk about this right now, what's happening to me in this lobby, getting shit on by kids sat up there, that is a classic example of the current problem with modern multiplayer games, is that it'll never be like it used to be because of the way that kids will play these games these days. They don't move around very much. This is Rust, right? I don't know if you've noticed, but the enemy team really isn't moving very much. Most of the deaths that I'm getting are from a distance, right? On one of the closest range maps in all of Call of Duty. And I think that Fortnite is to blame for that. Like, my entire team is sat here. I can literally see the entire team. Fortnite and Warzone made it so that people are afraid to move now. And it's kind of sad, it's kind of annoying. And it's like, it means that people don't play in a very fun way. Like, I can't even see these kill cams, right? But it is just people sat around the tower. And that was not how people played back in the original Modern Warfare 2. Now, when I make videos saying that, people moan at me saying, oh, it's not the original Modern Warfare 2, you can't expect it. It's like, yes, but these maps are the original, and I was hoping that it would play in the same sort of flow, because, you know, how you play a map is typically determined by how the map is designed, and they're designed the same, and therefore you'd assume the flow would be the same. But the players and the way the players play is not the same, because we never had Battle Royale as kids, and weren't afraid to move. Now, of course, there were always campers, but I don't think there was campers to the extent there is now. And I think that that is a real detriment to the game. And I don't think that's to do with the game itself. I think that's to do with just the way people play games these days. And just, you know, the culture created by the Battle Royale type game modes where people are afraid to run around and die. But, yeah, what's next? So, gunplay and the guns. I don't like a lot of the guns, and I feel like a lot of the guns are about the same in terms of how they feel. And that's kind of not a good thing, because we all know that, like, a lot of YouTubers like to bang on about meta this, meta that. That was also not really a thing for the first, like, 6 golden years of COD, from, like, COD 4 until about COD Ghost was where really things started dropping off. Because back then, every gun was good. Like, yeah, there were clear standouts in each Call of Duty where everybody would use that weapon, like, preferentially, but that didn't change the fact that a good player could still beat bad players that used good weapons. Now, you can still do that for sure, but it's much less frequent. Like, for example, if I'm using this SMG that I'm using right now, and I come up against a guy that's using the Holger or an MCW, I will absolutely lose that gunfight the majority of the times because the SMG cannot compete. Like, assuming we both get on target at about the same time, that's just how that works. Whereas, didn't used to be like that. Like, if we look at Modern Warfare 2, the first one, the original one, and look at assault rifles, You've got Scar H, the TAR-21, the AK, the M4, the ACR. These are all guns that you could tear up a lobby with frequently. Like, skill-based matchmaking or not. Like, the overpowered guns in that game, like the UMP, didn't outclass every other gun to the point where every other gun was a detriment if you used it. And the same goes with most of the CODs. Like, Black Ops 2 being one of the most balanced CODs of all time is a classic example of that. People be like, oh, but the MSMC was overpowered. It's like, yeah, and the PDW had to be nerfed, and the MP7 had to be nerfed. Like, back then, when everything was powerful, nothing is exceedingly powerful. And that's just how fun that was. Like, look at this, right? I've just shot 2 or 3 guys that were lying prone on Rust. What are they doing? I think a lot of my problems with the game couldn't be helped no matter what the game was. Like, I've seen a lot of people talking about games like Valorant and things like that. I've never played those. And about how they feel more like old COD, but I don't know if they would. Because you can make the mechanics feel like old COD, but you can't change the player base. Like, maybe the skill-based matchmaking is the reason why things feel as bad. Like, skill-based matchmaking does not belong in the game, just straight up. And I'll see people coping saying that, oh, you just want to shit on people that are worse than you. I mean, yeah, you do shit on people that are worse than you. And then when somebody's better than you, they shit on you. And that's how you improve. Because you're against varying skill levels, right? When you compete against people that are supposed to be around about similar to you, you don't improve. Everybody just stays about the same. If everybody gets a participation, that's what skill-based matchmaking is. It's a participation award. That's who it's to protect, the kids that actually need the protection, the participation award. It's a different time. I didn't play the story of Modern Warfare 3, even though I'm typically the single-player guy. Like, I don't tend to do much multiplayer. COD is about the extent of it. I saw that it was really, really short and not worth trying, and was like the #1 thing people slated the game about when it came out, like a couple weeks ago, so I didn't even bother touching it. I enjoyed the campaign of last year's Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 2019, but apparently things are just not the way they were in those, in terms of the way they did the campaign. So it's one of them where, do I really want to bother? Probably not. So I probably won't. But do I think the game is worth the price? No, of course it isn't. Like, you can't... At the end of the day, this was definitely supposed to be our DLC. You cannot charge £70 for a handful of new guns, most of which that are useless, for a bunch of maps that have existed for more than 14 years at this point. It's crazy to me that they did. It was very clear that this was supposed to be a DLC, that this was supposed to be an upgrade for year 2, but that that Modern Warfare 2 last year underperformed, so they had to sell this as its own thing. COD every year says they're going to start a 2-year cycle and stop releasing yearly. They've said it for years now, and they're not going to. A lot of people will say, why'd you buy the game if you don't like it? Well, first of all, I don't not like it. I'm enjoying myself. There are just things that I wish were better. If I didn't care, I wouldn't talk about it. And next, I did stop playing for years. The last COD that I played, I skipped Vanguard, I skipped Cold War, I skipped Black Ops 4, because they just weren't for me. I knew that COD wasn't what it was. I came back to COD with Modern Warfare 2019, and then Modern Warfare 2, because I thought, damn, they're gonna feel like the old CODs again. It's gonna be a return to form. And of course, it's not, and it never will be. But nostalgia bait, you know, it tricks me. Everybody my age, I'm 25, wants to relive that year back in Modern Warfare 2 where life was simple and you just came home from school every day. I remember I used to wake up like an hour before school would start, or an hour before I needed to get ready. Like, I'd get up at 6 in the morning just to play COD early every year from like World at War until COD Ghosts. That was about when I fell off. And it's like, those days are gone and they're never coming back. And it's why I primarily stick to single player stuff, because that will never lose its charm to me, especially with the older games that I tend to play, like especially as I start doing the game log videos here. So yeah, realistically I think with COD it's one of them where it doesn't matter what people say, you're either going to buy it or you're not going to buy it. Like, you're not going to get influenced into or not into buying it. It's one of them that's just too big, and I don't think it'll ever fully die. Like, the numbers will drop, but it'll still be one of the biggest games ever made. Like, that's another thing. The spawns are awful, right? I just died to the same guy with his same magazine, and he didn't stop firing, because I spawned basically 6 foot behind where I died. Exactly twice, look. And it's awful, right? It's ridiculous. It's crazy to me that maps that have existed for longer than some people that might be watching this video still can possibly have shit spawns. It's... How does that even happen? Nah, come on, peek again. And this side. If I just stand up here, that's what the kids do. They camp. And I don't like it. I always have to move. Like, I don't care if I die a lot. I've never cared if I die a lot. All I care is running around and getting a lot of kills. I've never been a high kill streak kind of guy. At most, I had like a 2 KD in the golden years of COD. But if I just get a lot of kills, I'm happy. And for the most part, it's okay. Because these old maps, they let you get kills. It's not nowhere near as bad as COD 2019, when it felt like 20 kills was a struggle to get. And especially because of these hardcore 24/7 game modes being a lot more fun. Like, we're on 46 kills. Like, this domination just is nowhere near gonna end. Like, where are we? 188, 186. So, like, a few more minutes yet. I do think that if it wasn't for these game modes, that I probably would have quit by now, because I'm just not motivated with the prestige system not being in the game anymore. Like, removing the OG prestige system defeats the point for me. I used to always try to be 10th prestige before Christmas, and I think I only achieved it in Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3. But now that you can't prestige, I've been level 55 for like a week. There's nothing to gain from actually playing besides just the fun of playing. Like, I could grind camos like some people do, but I've never cared about cosmetics in video games. For the same reason that I don't buy the battle passes in these things either. I don't understand the point. I don't understand the point of having a skin that you'll never see except for when you see your body on the floor. But yeah, this probably sounded more negative than I meant it to be. I do enjoy the game and I'm having fun and I'm playing it a decent chunk. But it's just... I wished it was more, you know? So yeah, if you've watched this far into the video, make sure you click the follow button, subscribe and all that sort of thing.